Good afternoon and welcome to another lesson, this time Poetry Part 2. I'm Mrs. Swart, and today we're going to analyze a poem. I think it's something that you need to look at. I have a very simple poem for you, so it's going to be very easy to analyze, and I think it'll also help you that when you look at a poem in future, you'll have an idea of what to do. So let's have a look. When we analyze a poem, you might remember previously I said to you, look at the title. What does the title tell me? And today's poem is called Perfect Me. Now, when you look at this title, you anticipate something, you expect something. What does this title say about the poem? Well, perfect tells us something is flawless, and it's a person saying, me, I'm perfect. Flawless, faultless, nothing wrong with me. And most of you are already thinking, no one is perfect. No one out there has no flaws as well, at all. All of us have something, might be a little bit of a something. Some people are really awesome and gorgeous, but everyone has something wrong or something that's not perfect. Now, let's look at this. This specific poem, Perfect Me, and you will see the poet is also referred to as the speaker. But before you even read the poem, don't read the poem yet. You're going to look at the form and the structure. We've already looked at the title. So we look at how many lines there are. This poem has 2 stanzas, 9 lines. Stanza 1 is a quatrain. It has 4 lines, and stanza 2 has 5 lines. Then we work out the rhyme scheme. It's me, am, strange, mange. So strange and mange rhyme with one another. Then we have tea, am, way, me, and me again. So we see that both of these stanzas end on a rhyming couplet. That's what we call when 2 lines rhyme with one another. Then they form a couplet. And both stanzas here end on a rhyming couplet. And then the rhyme scheme is, remember we use the alphabet. We use small letters, so it's A, B, C, C, A, B, D, A, A. So now we know that's what our structure looks like. And then we will look at things like, if you look quickly, can you see anything like a metaphor, alliteration, anything like that? You might not pick it up immediately. You might only pick it up once we read the poem. So now we're going to read the poem, and we're going to read from punctuation mark to punctuation mark for the simple reason poems have run-on lines or enjambment, and that helps to understand what's going on when you read and you stop at the end of the sentence or the line, the completed line. Otherwise, if you read only line by line, you lose what the content is telling you. You lose out what the message is from the poet because you're ending where there shouldn't be an end. When we look at new words, the vocabulary, you see words like mange, you go and look up in the dictionary to see what it is. It's scabies, it's mites, it's some horrible thing that chews at a dog's skin and then it makes it get all patches that are dry and the fur falls out and things like that. We look at things like the message. What is the poet saying? What this poet is saying, yeah. And we're going to quickly read the poem and then you'll see the message very clearly. So here we go. Some of you may look at me and wonder who I am. She's awfully strange, a dog with mange, and not your cup of tea. But me, I love me as I am, won't change in any way. Look again, yes, look at me, perfectly me. Okay, so the poet's message is saying you are special. You are unique. You do not have to conform. You must be proud of your uniqueness. None of us is the same. Each and every one is special. Be proud of being unique. Be proud of being different. Be proud of being, some people have already said to kids that they're weird just because they're different. But be proud of who you are. You are special. You were made the way you are. Now, is this message literal or figurative? It could be understood literally. And it was meant to be understood literally because I know the poet. Okay, it's just a silly poem I wrote quickly, but anyway, so it's meant literally to say to you, you are special. I am me. Other people don't necessarily think there's anything special about me. They might look and say, good grief. Who's that? What's that person? But the message is to say you are unique and you must celebrate and embrace your uniqueness. The theme here is universal. That means it's for everyone. A universal theme means it's a theme that's for everyone. It's about you accepting who you are. So it's about accepting who I am. Poetic techniques used, it's the same as when we look at figurative language. We have sound devices, figures of speech, and something that's really cute that we have as well is something called poetic license. I'm sure you all know what that is. Now let's have a look at this. So it's a not so silly poem by Mrs. Swart. Perfect me. Figurative language here, we have metaphor. You will see a dog with mange and not your cup of tea. Remember, metaphor, we're comparing something to, it's a direct comparison. We're comparing it to something else. Perfect me, I'm being compared to a dog with mange. People look and say, yeah, but look what that person looks like. That person's not special and not your cup of tea. So the person's saying, you're not their sort of person. Alliteration, she's awfully strange, the repetition of the S sound. And then the poetic license, where we have perfectly me. It's a nonsense word. It's a word that doesn't exist, but it's a word that I'm saying, that's me. Perfectly me. Now, enjambment, run-on lines, you'll see the first stanza runs into the second stanza. So we have this continuation. At first, where we have people saying, you know, you're not so special. Who are you? Look at that strange person. And then it ends off by me saying, I accept me the way I am. I'm happy the way I am. And the enjambment, just make sure that we continue this idea into the second stanza without suddenly going to a different part of a poem or something that doesn't seem to link with the poem. And then the poetic license is making up your own silly word or changing the order of words to make it work. The tone in this poem is tongue-in-cheek. Now, tongue-in-cheek means it's like it's meant lightheartedly. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, even though it's quite a serious topic, to accept yourself the way you are because you are perfect. It's the tone, it's an amused tone or an amusing tone, and even satisfied. I'm satisfied with the way I am. So it doesn't matter what other people think of you, whether they see you as a dog with mange and you're not their cup of tea. We aren't meant to satisfy everyone, but you are still perfectly you. And don't forget, you're going to do a quiz after this, and I want you to try your very best. There's some questions to do with the discussion on how to analyze, and then there's also some questions on the poem itself. Look carefully at the figurative language and make sure you can identify it. Something I want you to remember, alliteration can also be asked as, if you know, sound device. So if they ask you for a sound device, you will look for alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. They are also figures of speech or poetic devices. But if it's a sound device, then you're going to look specifically at that. You'll see some of the figures of speech here weren't necessarily covered in this poem, but I just left them there to remind you of what we do have. And now you are going to prove that practice makes perfect, and you're going to click on the link below and complete your exercise, your quiz, and I know you're going to get full marks. Think carefully about it. Don't just go in like a bull in a china store and think, okay, here I go, let me get this over. Go in, think carefully, read carefully again, and I'll also share the link to the quiz in the group so that you can get it there. Thank you so much and good luck with the quiz and have a wonderful day.